Hello? Ooh, shit. There we go. Boop, boop.
Bam. There we go. How you doing, man?
What's up?
Good to see you. Sorry, Cop.
Howdy, cop. Are we going right away here?
Yeah, just like that, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate you hopping on, man. How you doing?
I appreciate you having me. I'm fantastic, man. Just finished training the boys. We go a little longer than a lot of teams do. We go up right up to the Wednesday, you know, Muay Thai style. So
No,
yeah,
it's good, man.
they're
It's
in Kraken today, and man, these guys are hitting hard. Everything's going to be perfect on the weekend. I'm excited.
dude, I watched an interview. It was from over 10 years ago, and it was after the Strong and Proud show, and you were being interviewed and you said, I'm so excited about this. I can't wait to see where it's going to take me into my 30s. And to see the team that you have now, dude.
Yeah,
I know, I think we met just kind of brushed by each other at Muay Thai World Cup there at the semis for Taylor's semifinal there.
yeah,
Um, and then, I was just rewatching it to see her walk out to Lumpini. It was beautiful.
that was an interesting experience. Taylor's Taylor put herself into a position where she kind of, well, through her actions, through amazing actions, she became, this most winning female, and et cetera, et cetera. It's my fault too, right? But then there's a lot of pressure when that comes with that. And up until the last half of that fight on Lupini, there's been a lot of performance anxiety almost with her, and just fighting not to lose as opposed to fighting to like damage people. And it was good to see like the Taylor, because when Taylor was coming up, she was knocking everybody out,
Yeah.
and I know the level obviously rises up, and this was the probably the highest level that she's ever fought, right? And to see her weather that storm and come back, we didn't get the win, but
Mhm.
to feel the energy in Lumpini Stadium in that moment was pretty intense. Considering, what, November 2021 was the first ever female Muay Thai fight in Lumpini. They used to think women fighting was bad luck. They'd have to
I didn't
crawl
know.
under the ropes if they did fight. Yeah, so Lumpini was, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool step, and history's history, and that was the first female to fight on ONE FC, and I think didn't get the win, but imagine getting signed to the UFC and you're a 145er, and they're like, okay, go fight Max Holloway first fight. It's a pretty crazy, like, it was like when I saw it, I didn't make a big deal of it because I didn't want to freak anybody out. I'm like, fuck, this is a super tough fight.
Yeah.
Like, this girl's knocked out everybody except the champion, and the champion didn't make weight, so there's like an asterisk behind beside that. Like, like, she she's coming off a title fight. So yeah, it was really cool. And I think it woke something up inside of Taylor. The little gears started turning where it's like, okay, this is how I have to do it. And coming from 5 round Muay Thai to 3 round
Yeah.
Muay Thai with MMA gloves on, it's entertainment Muay Thai now.
Yeah.
It's not true. You can't be like Muay Famur. I was talking to Berklik about this. Muay Famur in ONE FC is kind of like dying.
Yeah.
A lot of we'll have to adjust the game because a lot of like the clinch was getting broken up really early, partially because of what the girl was doing, and partially because this they want that entertainment value, which makes sense.
Where
If you
it's
want to turn it into $1 billion enterprise, and for me, like I grew up as a Muay Thai purist, and I love White Crew, and I love the music, and I
Mhm.
love the liniment, and I love all these things about it. But it is two separate sports, right? This is
Yeah.
more. This is more in comparison to like a glory style kickboxing with elbows and clinch.
Yeah.
It's small gloves on. It's nuts. Just
Yeah.
seeing some of the fights was crazy, man.
Yeah, she said, I mean, like, kind of adjusting to that entertainment style. And then having someone like Berkeley with you guys, I was seeing him
Yeah.
in an interview there too with, you obviously your history goes way deep with him. The
Yes.
record of 172 and 6 for folks that don't know is
Yeah. He's an
madness.
amazing living legend, and
Yeah.
and and I'm truly blessed. to have both coach like my Kru Chris
Mhm.
Q introduced me to the sport, and then he sent me over to Thailand in I think 2003 as a delegate for the first ever World Professional Muay Thai Federation meeting.
Mm.
I just had to vote. Whatever Germany and England voted, that was Canada's vote. So I was sent there to vote on
Okay.
behalf of my crew who could not attend that meeting.
Mhm.
And then Berkler was the technical advisor for this league because he was just retired and he was like one of the best ever and he's just crazy record and I met him and we trained at Pinson where Taylor just was, which is cool under General Swake Pinson who's 80 and still moving around.
No way,
Yeah, he's 80 years old, and
dude.
he's a general he runs the forestry and environmental police.
Okay.
So if you're a poacher, they call him the Dark Knight, Aswin Down, right? It's like he'll get you and he'll throw you in jail for life. Like Thailand's not a democracy. Thailand is a monarchy still.
Wow.
It's very it's an interesting place. You got to tread carefully, right? But yeah, so I met Berklerg and then he just invited me to stay at his house and then we've been back and forth. He lived with me, I lived with him, and it's been 20. I met him when I was 20, I think
Okay.
21 maybe. So
Damn.
I'm 43 now. A long-standing relationship, and for me, like virtues like loyalty are
Yep.
very important. So I've never had another Canadian coach outside of Kru Chris, and like the obviously like go see this guy, go see that guy, whatever.
Yep. Yeah. Move around, work with them.
Kru Chris is my crew.
Yeah.
Jean Berklerk has been my agents, and it's my only Thai guy I've ever claimed to be my teacher. But why would I want anything else?
I was gonna say.
Kru Chris has created so many not only champions but teachers.
Mhm.
There's so many gyms that exist because of him, mine included.
Damn, dude.
And Ajahn Berkeley, like same. So it's uh it's interesting. It's been an interesting life, that's for sure.
You guys got, it's a testament too, like trainers that train but are also champions as well. Like Pete, like Mirza, like Taylor,
Yeah,
like Mateo.
yeah.
I got a couple of them just to give me a few words when, it comes to mind when they think of you. Mirza said mentor, coach, and friend. Um, Fazekas. Oh, he said, am I too late? That's hilarious. Calvin Dolson said, lineage, leader, and sacrifice. Mo said some funny stuff. He said,
You're trying to kick me in the fields here, aren't you?
hey, come on, man. Mo
Yeah,
said, he's like, in fight camp, we're not friends, but that's one of the best things. And you make sure that we're 100% before anything. And that's most
yeah.
important. So it's,
I
it's nice to have that kind of relationship. And then, like you said, with loyalty being that important, like it's a perfect recipe.
If you look at any of my fighters, they're all homegrown, and the people that aren't homegrown, I generally like they don't last, because maybe they come from a softer upbringing, or maybe
Mm.
maybe they're looking for something like whatever, like.
Or to attach themselves to your name, right? To be a part of that House of Champions
Well,
style,
I
right?
don't, I don't, I don't like saying that. I'm
Yeah.
not even close to where I want to be yet. So
Mhm.
like to say that is like, I think I have a good reputation, and I think I do a lot to try and further the sport and my athletes, obviously, and myself.
Yeah.
I'm in this for my goals and dreams too. I
Yeah.
started this out, like a long time ago, and I'm proud of where I've come from and where I am, but I'm not there yet. We're not even close. Like last year was a good year. We didn't fight enough, but like our MMA team's doing well. We were undefeated in Canada. With tough fights,
Mhm.
with fighting uphill, like the undefeated prospects and the guys with literally 6 times more experience and the guys
Yeah.
that no one else wanted to fight. I pride myself on that because fighting is about fighting. The warrior mentality is not necessarily. I came up in Muay Thai, so it's not about protecting the record. It's just about being a warrior.
Yeah. And that's the best
And
part.
it's so cool when it works out like that. Like our only loss was obviously Mo, but
Yeah.
that was on a big stage, and he's so new,
Yeah.
and he's so blessed physically that he could kind of put himself in a couple fights. He put himself in places where he got out of. So he thought that he could. But when you get to the bigger stage, you need to be more cognizant of the fact that game planning and strategy and tactics have to play a role too. So I think very, 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 very valuable lessons were learned in Vegas that day,
Hmm.
right? And like sticking to the game plan at that level is very important. And sticking to the game plan this Friday is going to be very important. Because if Mo follows his game plan, Zach Powell does not have a chance.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a chance. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what the Instagram fans say.
Hmm.
I have great respect for Zach's team. I have great respect for Zach. I think he's an amazing fighter. But I think, if we do our job properly, we're gonna finish him. We're gonna get the big knockout. It's gonna be a highlight reel. And I'm excited for it. Obviously he thinks the opposite, but that's what fighting is. It's about
Yeah.
meeting in the middle and finding the truth. It's just a search of truth. Like you think you can beat me, I think I can beat you. Let's go. And then one guy will back down. It's primitive, it's natural, like look at two bears fighting over the girl. I can beat you, you can beat me. I want her. No, you, I want, bro. Smash, smash, smash. Oh, okay. The one guy tucks his tail and runs away or dies. And I think in this particular instance, it's going to be a very amazing fight. I think it's going to be blood and guts. It'll come down to choices, and I'm very, very excited for all the guys this weekend. Very, very excited.
Yeah, you got multiple on the card, right? You got three of
Yeah,
them?
four
Four of
guys.
them.
Yeah. So we got Jake. Jake Govro is fighting.
Okay.
A gentleman from out west. Kind of, kind of talked his way into it. He really wanted to fight Jake for some reason. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know if you've seen the banter.
No, I didn't actually. I'll check it
Yeah,
out after this.
yeah, it's interesting. His dad's really like really hyping his kid up, which is which
Okay.
is commendable.
Okay.
He's
Okay.
borderline disrespectful to our team and to Jake, and calling everybody that we fought like cream puffs and all this stuff. But I think it's going to be one of those situations like don't let your mouth write a check your ass can't cash.
Sounds like a
I'm looking
baseball
for.
dad, I gotta say. It just sounds like a
I,
dad.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Like I'm looking forward to it, and hey, maybe you know something we don't, but
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
think it's a good fight for Jake. I know the guy's big, and we got Liam obviously fighting. He's fighting, a young prospect he was supposed to fight before, but there was some issues there, and the fight fell through, and that's when he had to fight Gabe Sagman,
Okay.
which was like a really tough fight for what second fight, third fight, yeah, second fight, third fight. I don't know. Yeah, his second fight. He was 1-0. He had to fight a guy that had fought for a title and with like 14 fights, right? So
Mhm.
that was tricky. I think Liam's really going to do well this year. Hopefully, work his way into a contendership kind of position here. And we got Mirza, the Bosnian bomber.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
when was his last fight? Because I've been looking
it
and
was in
I've been
Ottawa. The
waiting.
unified in Ottawa,
Okay, okay.
and he fought like he fought a guy that a lot of people are like, oh, what's that guy doing in there with him? But that guy beat, a very big athletic gentleman from Kingston who played in the NFL and had a great amateur record and was a champion. So like it is what it is. But Mirza hits different, right? It's shocking
Yeah.
how hard and fast he is. So what I say about Mirza is it's like so fast you can't see it and so hard you can't believe it, you know? And they just everyone's peaked right now. So obviously like four fighters on a card, you'd love to go 4-0. I believe that's going to happen in my soul. I'd be surprised if it didn't, but could be the best night, could be the worst night. You never really
Yep.
know till you get in there.
Yep.
I'm very confident, very, very confident, but you also can't make promises because it is the fight game and
Yep.
things happen and whatever, right? But yeah, it's gonna be a great night, I think.
I'm
Everyone's willing to go and sacrifice their comfort for victory.
well,
They're
that's
willing to wade through it, right? Because they've done it with me.
yeah.
Like training with me is not for everybody,
Hmm.
and that's okay,
Yeah.
right? But you're going to be fit mentally, and you're going to be fit physically, and you're going to be fit technically. So
Just like Mo said, not friends. You're here to get them through this,
they
right?
must hate me, right? But that's
Yeah.
that's what it takes.
Yeah.
If
And
you
then
want to be if you want to be friends and only play around and do drills and stuff like that, that's cool. But when it comes down to having to walk through fire, you gotta
Well, and
You got to experience some heat.
there's a complete opposite side to that because that's even being more so of a true friend, honestly, being there and putting them through exactly what they need, right? Like on
Well,
the
it's
surface.
honesty.
So
That's
that's and that
honesty. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. For yourself, I'll go, sorry, go ahead.
No, just being honest is the most important attribute that a coach could ever have.
Hmm.
The problem is in today's society, and people with egos and whatever, honesty offends people sometimes. So
Hmm.
if you can check the ego, me too, right? Like if someone tells me something, like I 20 years ago, I would have been, whoa, you can't say that about me, blah blah blah. But if you're speaking the truth, and you can look at it and kind of like take that truth for the truth that it is, and it's not offensive. It just is what it is. It
Hmm.
just is. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
So if I'm saying you're not punching hard enough, it's because you're not punching hard enough. Because I
yeah,
know you can do better.
yeah.
You know, like stop that. If
I love it.
if you're getting taken down over and over again, like it's like, okay, well, and then you have to take the truth, and you have to fix it, and that's all,
Yeah,
right? So to me, like it's just like a certain level of like pragmatism is so important, and honesty, right?
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw it back to last year at Unified 55 in Toronto there at Rebel. The Moe's night there, and Mateo's night. I think it was 55.
Yep. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's
Um,
just a timeless every month there's fights.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure. Where am I? What
For
year is it?
this ties into the question here. So for yourself, because I interviewing you prior, seeing the fights, and then you going backstage, waiting is Mateo getting the contract or not, yada yada yada. You're already on to the next week, the next day, the next month, going on to the next fights. Like, but I can also see the admiration you have for your fighters after those sides. For yourself, when you're in those moments, when you're doing the walk, do you ever do you take that extra second to just be like, I'm doing this, like just for yourself, like making those walks at these stages with those guys right now? It's something, man.
Yeah, it's cool. Like I don't think too hard about it. This is the life I've led
Yeah,
forever. I've never had a normal job, right? Like
yeah.
this is something I've done since longer than I haven't, right? So,
Mm.
I started coaching and whatever, like just literally like a year or two into this thing, and it's just something that I'm very comfortable with, and I appreciate it,
Hmm.
but I'm never like, if it's the biggest stage in the world, like I know that I belong there in my
That's
in my
awesome.
and I know that my athletes belong there. I never get like overwhelmed by the moment,
No, yeah,
you
not
know?
not more so overwhelmed, but just such a sense of like, like that breath of like we're here. Like obviously the night's not,
Yeah.
it's not over,
Yeah,
and
it's not
it'll never
over.
be over. But
To me, like I know it might strip me of some of the joy and some of the thing, but like even when someone wins, like I'm always thinking about, okay, now what's next?
yeah,
Because I'm
you have
obsessed.
to, you
Like,
have to.
I don't think people like understand. Like I wake up and I think about fighting, and then I yeah, I go to work and I talk about fighting for 12 hours,
I
and
got
then
you.
I come home and I watch fights, or I read books on war history, and like I just love everything that goes into it, from philosophy to psychology to technical, and I'm completely obsessed, right? So
Fuck
it's
yeah, man.
it's not fading, which is
Mhm.
neat.
Yeah, yeah.
I know sometimes coaches it fades a little bit, and then you're in, you're out, you're here. The athletes too. It's like, oh, I quit. I'm coming back now. Blah blah blah. Like for me, it's never gone away at all. This is all I've ever wanted. I just want to get better, and I think that the ethos of martial arts and just trying to improve a little bit every day has made a very interesting life.
I've
And
explained it to some
I'm very
folks.
grateful for that.
Yeah, it's like a symbiote, like Spider-Man with Venom. That's what I've said. It's like it attaches itself right to
Yeah,
you, and if it like blends
it
with
does.
your DNA, there's no getting rid of it. It's
Yeah, there's no distinction between the mask that I used to wear and the human now. The mask is attached, right?
yeah.
I'm Kru Jeff Harrison. You
Fuck.
know, there are other sides to me, and there's things, but like this is a very important part of it.
Hmm. Going back to when we were talking about Taylor with one championship and going back to winning again, I just wanted to ask about the Pan Am fights there. I just didn't get to see any coverage. I know she ended up on the losing side of that, but did that
Yep.
have any effect or play into going into that fight in one?
I think like the whole thing was just with Taylor. We just got to fight. a little bit harder. Fight to be violent. Fight to decimate opponents.
Well, it took a long time, right? You guys were maybe
Yeah. Plus,
expecting it a bit
it take a
sooner.
lot. Yeah, just more experience. And I know she's had 63 fights now, but like more experience. I mean, like fight more. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, one turns it around quick, and and she can fight right away again. And if not there, I guess we'll have to look for other options. But like, you know, she's in the prime of her career
Yeah.
and, you know, prime of her athletic ability. So it would be a shame to do another year like last year where it's like
Oh, fuck.
we only took that fight just to stay busy for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Because that call
You
was
know,
supposed to come
that fight,
earlier.
the
Yeah.
Pan Am fight, the WMC world title was not in the cards until like what 6 weeks out, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm fighting your and then fighting Tara Brandt. Like that girl's so good. That
Yeah.
girl's won everything. You know,
Fuck.
that girl's amazing. Um, hopefully we can get it back sometime.
Nice.
But
Can you
didn't go our way.
tell me a bit about Randy Turner?
Randy Turner,
Tell
why?
me about Randy Turner.
He's an awesome guy. He's a good friend. He used to be a teammate. I've cornered him a number of times, and you know, used to help him with his striking and MMA a little bit at OAMA when I worked at Ottawa Academy of Martial Arts.
Was that the first gym that you were at in Ontario there?
Oh no,
No?
no. I
Or like
moved
worked at, I should say?
in Ottawa. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So I started coming up to Ottawa. I started coming up to Ottawa in 2000, I don't know, 2007 for my pro debut. That's when I started coming up. I
Hmm.
was going to fight at the Halifax Forum for Peter Martell's league out there in Halifax called ECC.
Okay.
I was fighting the striking coach from Team Titans, so I had to get jujitsu. So I came up, and you know, I'd been training jujitsu, but I just never had a coach. That's like I went to Brazil. My first class was taught by Hodger Gracie as a
Oh,
brown belt.
neat. That's amazing.
Yeah, like the goat. You know, like
Yeah.
I got to I went in 2002 to Brazil, and I lived there for a little bit. And I ended up training with the Gracie family. That's why I went instead
Wow.
of kind of going on to secondary post secondary education. I decided to go chase this thing.
Fuck yeah.
So I went to Brazil, trained with the Gracies. Like I said, my first class ever was taught by Hodger, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And like that time Gracie Baja was up on. It was not what it was now. It was up on the top floor of like a parking kind of. It was an open air gym, but it was just packed. Like all the goats, like Nino Chembre, Pedro Pano, you know, like just Gordinho, like just the best of the best were there. But I had gone because I wanted to be an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
So I was training in the gi. I had never trained jujitsu before, so it was obviously like I'm just getting like effed right up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm
Especially
like,
down
when
there.
do you guys do no gi? They're like, oh, we do no gi like a month before no gi worlds. I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't suit me. So the guys that own On the Mat, I don't know if you remember that website, were there,
No, I
and
don't.
okay, it's a big thing in the States, or it used to be anyway. And they took me to see Brazilian top team. They're like, come with us, but you can't tell the Gracies because they'll beat you in the street. So I went and I went to Brazilian top team, and that was when Minotauro was Pride champion. That was before he fought Fedor, right? And that was like Minotauro, like Ricardo Arona, like just
Easy.
like Laborio, like everybody was there, right? That's before American top team,
Oh my God.
right? And I'm brand new. But for some reason, one of the guys, Hudson Rocha, who was my first Vale Tudo MMA coach, he decided he liked me and we did privates together. So and then he somehow started inviting me into these sessions, and I already had Muay Thai, a little bit of Muay Thai experience, so I was able to spar with the best team in the world. But more importantly, I sat on the edge and I would watch these guys and how hard they worked.
Yeah.
I was not technical enough to truly appreciate what they were doing and what they were teaching me and whatever. Like I should have been in basic class learning how to shrimp, back roll, mount escape.
Yeah.
But I was here somehow, just by chance, in this room full of the absolute best of the best in the world.
Fuck.
And watching how hard they worked was what did it. What did it for me.
Hmm.
because it was ridiculous. The shark tanks, the conditioning, the et cetera, et cetera. So at a very before I even started coaching, before I had a dream of coaching, before I had an inkling that I would be an MMA fighter, I saw how hard you had to work to be the best. And that moment helped shape me a lot because, you know, conditioning is confidence,
Mhm.
cardio is confidence. Like you have to be able to work so hard if you want to be the best. And
Use
that
that
really
third
like
lung.
those lessons really served me, you know. And I came back and you know, Chris was teaching me Muay Thai, and then I started like a little like Valley Tudo club and like in his gym and all this stuff. And it's been a crazy life, man. But also like just meeting Berkler and like
Yeah.
the level of Muay Thai is the level of Muay Thai that we had. But then when you meet like one of the best, a Lumpini champion, like a legendary Lumpini champion, Thailand champion, fighter of the year, like just so many accolades, and then the record, like this guy's never been cut because his defense was so impeccable.
That's ins I'm gonna go
180
to
fights, never cut. He had one broken nose, but like you look at his face, he's clean because he's got IQ. And also like just the ridiculous work ethic that I would go train with him for fights and whatever. I turned pro in Thailand in 2004. And I would train with him, and the work would be just on a different level. The cardio would be the running he would put us through. Like he would train me and Kru Chris for like fights and stuff. We brought him to Canada and we'd be dying. I was always just had a little bit better cardio than I'd be like, come on, buddy, come on. He's bigger, right? But
yeah.
it was man, it was just life changing to see how hard you had to work if you want to be the best.
Mhm.
So Taylor goes to Thailand. She's like, wow, that's easy. Went to Fairtex. It's like that is nothing compared to what you put us through. I'm like, well, like, you know, that's what we do.
That's so
That's
good.
what we do. Like
That's so good.
that's what I saw when I was raised, and that's I'll never stop doing it. And if you don't like it and you want to be lazy and you want to go somewhere else and you don't want to get up early and run and you don't want to do this and that, then that's cool. Be be your own guy, right? But I'm not going to it takes a lot of energy to coach. And at this stage right now, I'm done trying to chase people to be great. Right. I
Hands
just
down.
the guys that are
Hands down.
homegrown get it because that's what they're raised on. you know they're raised on it, and like this is why it works
And
because they're
only fighting
raised
the
with me.
best.
And like having Peter lead these guys in jiu-jitsu, like he's such a technical wizard. As a coach, like I couldn't ask for anything else. We've added Ilya Ibelev, who's like a five-time national champion, undefeated in Canadian university wrestling. He took down Jordan Burroughs, man. He's amazing.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's in Ottawa. He's completing his residency as a doctor. So he's not on the mats all the time, but when he is, it's like he's a very intelligent man. And that was kind of like one of the missing links. So I'm super excited. Like we're planting seeds that we don't quite have the shade. We're not sitting under the shade of them yet.
Mhm.
But as the wrestling grows, as the jiu-jitsu grows, as the team grows, and as these younger kids grow up, seeing how hard Mo, Taylor, Alex, Liam, Jake, Mateo, seeing how hard these guys work and how hard these guys push, the true benefit will be found in the next generation, I believe.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Because Fight Factory in Ottawa, like that was my first gym was called Fight Factory in like 2003 or four, I think I opened. I started it, or five, I don't know, I'm not sure. But it was a long time ago. In Ottawa, it's only been a thing since the end of 2022.
Did you go
So
from
we're,
New
we're like
Era?
just a couple years. Yeah, new era. Yeah, COVID
Yeah.
hammered new era.
Yeah. Of
I had a corporate partner, and then things happened, right?
course.
With COVID, like we lost a lot of money and this and that. So I was able to come out with a gym, and yeah, man, it's exciting.
Fucking rights, dude. I can omit this part after if you'd like. I just wanted to ask you a question because I was chatting with Pete about it, but I think it's pretty in the open as it is. Um, just your like being able to go back down to the States for yourself there. Is that like a big game-changing part of the team moving forward for you, or is it not really that much of a difference?
It is a difference.
Okay.
because to me, like, I've cornered thousands of fights,
Yeah.
and I like to be there. I'm the guy working with it, so
Okay.
of course, I made some stupid choices during my path because I was just trying to like fund this whole thing,
Yep. Yep.
and I got in some trouble, and but it's like you can't let these things define you. It's just
Of
another
course.
fight. It's just whatever, right? Like, it was awesome to go to the States, of course. It's been a missing piece for a long time, and my story is my story, man. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got in trouble when I was a kid. I was doing some crazy stuff, living a crazy life, kind of this like this duplicitous existence between at one time being an elite athlete and trying to start a team and trying to be a coach, and the other time on the other side being a criminal,
Hmm.
and it caught up with me, and I own it, and that's fine.
Okay.
But when it happened, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to me, because that's when I started my first gym.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
got charged. And then I basically was facing like, I was facing like 36 months, I think.
Okay.
That's what the Crown wanted, for my involvement in like in organized crime and a project and all this stuff, and it was crazy, right? So
Mhm.
I I, uh, I had two choices. Either I was going to live that life or I was going to change it. So I immediately just changed my whole life. I turned things around. I started volunteering. I opened my gym. I got letters after letter after letter from like presidents of association and this and that and my students. I was out doing charity work. I was just trying to convince the judge that I was a good person,
Okay.
and I did. I had a thing this thick of like newspaper articles and
Little do
this and
they
that.
know he's still
I
doing
was
it on the
like,
other
I was
side.
like, here you go, sir. Like, my lawyer gave it to him, and instead of 36 months, I got 24 months of house arrest.
Okay.
So I had to stay in my house for 2 years
Fuck.
with an hour a week to get groceries, but also eventually my parole officer would let me run.
Okay.
She would let me go to fights. She would let me corner fights, you know. And
Okay.
I started my first gym literally in the apartment I lived in. The entire I cleared out the entire living room, and I started. That's where I started my first Fight Factory.
Dude.
And not only that, I brought Berkler. I spent all the rest of the money that I had made doing being a man of ill repute, and I brought Berkler to live with me. So I had a Lumpini champion living with me on house arrest until I couldn't afford him anymore. And that's when I started promoting shows. I promoted my first show with permission from the judicial system. I started my first team. I won belts as a fighter, and I completely changed my life. All I did was learn how to cook, make music, and think about Muay Thai and MMA.
Wow.
And the day after my sentence was over, I went to Mexico to fight for WMF Intercontinental title. And
Fuck.
then 1 month after that, I made my professional debut in MMA. And it's been an interesting life.
That's
Let's just
nuts,
say
man.
that.
Wow. That's incredible.
So yeah,
Yeah, for a lot of folks getting that, getting that sentence and being, it would be so easy for so many. And I know folks personally too that you could just get so down, oh, I'm stuck in this and
there's
pile
always a
themselves
way.
up. Yeah, there is
Here's
100.
the thing, man. People, bad things happen to people, and they look down,
Yeah.
right? They're scuffing stones, and they're pissed off, and they feel like a victim, but they're not looking up.
Hmm.
For every time something, I've had to rebuild myself 4 times in my life, whether it's failure as a business, failure, divorce, like whatever. I've had to rebuild myself 4 times in my life.
Hmm.
The getting charged and that whole thing,
Of course.
right? And every time it's gotten better. Every time the snake sheds the skin, it always gets better. So there's a lot of optimism to be plucked out of the thin air, but you cannot see it if you're looking down. If you make the most out of bad situations and look for that silver lining, after something bad, there is always something good.
Fuck
After a
yeah.
loss, there will always be a win. You know, after there will always be a lesson that will help you get that win. You know, life only gets better. I believe that's what Chris. That's what Crew Chris always says. Life only gets better, and I'm with that. I'm very lucky also to have mentors that teach me that like Chris that taught me the power of positive thinking and manifestation and just trying to make the life that you want,
Mhm.
regardless of what other people say, right? But yeah, man, every like if you're looking down, you can't see what's good.
Fuck no.
So you
Fuck
got to
no.
look up. You always
Have
got to
to.
look up. You always got to kind of like peek out and and pluck the good stuff after the bad. I'm sure of it because I've lived it over and over again, and my life just keeps getting better and better
It's
because
the only way.
I refuse to accept anything but.
And the sport teaches you that,
Yeah,
you
no,
get
like
knocked
learning
down,
how
you
to
get up,
fight
up
is
back
such an
up.
important thing. Learning how to fight is such an, and the sport itself, like man, when we started, like there was like 4 or 5 gyms in Muay Thai in Ontario, you know,
Wow.
and I got to fight on the first ever legal amateur show, 2003. Ajahn Khan put on a show, and to see people like come out, like to see like guys like Kru Lin, wow, to see like glory kickboxing champions like Simon Marcus, and to see, like um, Joe Valtellini
Yeah.
and Matt Embry and Ashley Nichols, rest in peace, and Taylor McClatchy now, and like, the next generation's coming up. Like some of the kids in the scene right now are so good. It's pretty amazing.
Like you
To
said, that
see
next
to see
generation is going to be
to see
blessed.
Martello win a green strap, man. That I was his first coach. That's cool.
That
You
was
know,
crazy. That was crazy.
Bonk. What an
Madness.
interesting little punch. Bink.
Madness. And I was in the
Crazy.
same hotel as Tim the next day. No, there was no hard feelings. He was like, I bet you that thing got a lot of views, is what he said. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
he's a nice guy.
yeah, he's an awesome guy, man.
I love that about Muay Thai.
I do
There's so
too,
much
dude.
respect.
Yeah.
MMA could take notes.
Yeah, a hundred,
You
hundred
know?
percent. It's and again, that's what's made me addicted to it too. And then being able to bounce off with folks like yourself, pick the brains on that side, and then be able to tap into that work ethic of the sport into everyday life. I think it's one of the most important things. I have so many folks that I know that are just looking down, like you said, and
Yeah,
it's literally as easy as just picking your fucking goddamn head up and and being
yeah,
thankful for the
man.
day and what you can achieve. And like going back to being in tough times and looking up. I started this shit when I was living on a chair in the living room in my ex's house with I had a back injury. I couldn't walk properly. And I was coming off of 8-month eye injury. I had both
Wow.
eyes fucked up, so I couldn't see a goddamn thing. And I was just listening to fight podcasts and shit and started getting into it. And then bada bing, bada boom, here we are. So
Do you train yourself?
just a little bit of boxing, but I have pretty bad scoliosis. So actually, I was going on some runs. I've rebuilt myself a few times too. I've fluctuated from like 290 to 190 and that kind of shit, just weight stuff. So
290?
I was 290 at one point, man, and I dropped 100 pounds in
Wow,
6 months. It was
that's
fucked, but
wild.
that was like that's when I found Goggins, honestly. So that's what helped me with
Okay.
that. So
He's an interesting
um,
guy too, eh?
I blew out my knees this past summer, so I'm just recovering from that and getting back to it on that side. So I can throw a
Okay.
pretty decent um,
What do you
question
got?
mark.
What's your punch?
Oh, my punch is oof. So I'm a right-handed southpaw, if that makes sense.
Yep, of
So it
course.
would be a jab and then coming in for a big body hook and then a right hook to the face. That's my like go-to combo. Kind of like
Let's
the Mike
go.
Tyson peak, but
Bam,
like
bam, bam.
bam,
Love
bam,
it.
bam. Yeah. And then question mark kick is my kick. I actually got Petch and Adrian to give me a good OA when I showed them it. So that was like one of the moments
Patch
of my life.
Bunchu, yeah?
Petch Penamon. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Patch Bunchu backstage at one. It was pretty cool.
Fuck
He's
yeah.
won all the belts, every single belt.
It's a
Yeah,
fucking awesome life, man.
yeah, it's amazing, man. I can't complain. I'm really excited for this year just to get to, like I said, we were undefeated in Canada last year. We had one slip up. I'd love to get Mo back. I'd love to get Mo back. I'd love to get Liam into, I don't think he'll be at that level this year, but early next year.
Mhm. Perfect. So yeah, you were saying don't sleep on Jake.
Jake's good, man.
Yeah.
Jake's an elite level jiu-jitsu practitioner, and his striking's really good. He's just got crazy eyes, man. He's very unorthodox. Sometimes sometimes, but it works, right? So it's hard to a guy like him and Mo, it's really hard to get a read in 5 minutes. How are you going to get a read on that in 5 minutes if
Oh
you're
fuck,
striking?
there's no way.
You know, Mo, like, yeah, Mo's lost. He kind of did it to himself. He decided to grapple with a guy he wasn't supposed to grapple with. Like, if you're on your feet with Mo, it's terrifying. He's
Mhm.
like, I don't think there's anybody at 170 that could hang with him, or 65 or 55. He's a little bit undersized, but his speed, and man, his IQ's good. We'll find out.
Yeah,
Got to find out this Friday. That's what I love about this stuff, right? Is you make yourself so vulnerable, but it also is like, as a coach, you put yourself into something, and then you go and you have to test it in front of all these people. It's very public. It's a
yes,
very like very public affair. you
100%.
know but at the end, like when it works out, and it often does if you work hard enough and you do the right things, it's very, very rewarding. It's the most rewarding thing I could possibly imagine, right, outside of being a father.
Dude, if I know someone that I'm close with that's fighting, um, I myself feel that sense of pride and like reward to see them, put in all that work and know how much work, unseen hours that's going in behind
Yeah,
all of that. Like for instance, at Muay Thai Academy, watching Petch fight in glory for his title. I'm fucking pacing. I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm not even in the fucking venue. So, for someone that's the key factor in their skill set, it's like you said, next to being a father, it just must be fucking incredible to see that growth, even in a loss, seeing them be able to get Lumpini up on their feet, seeing
yeah,
them make it to Dana White's Contender Series.
yeah. I got unfinished. Yeah, I'd really like this year to get that UFC fighter, right?
Fuck yeah, man.
That's missing.
Yeah.
I cornered the UFC at the O2 Arena, 2010, I think. I got Adam Hunter there, but just that didn't work out, obviously. So I'm waiting for that guy.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that breakout moment. And with the team that we have now, I'm sure there's not only going to be one, there's going to be many.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's just time, patience. Don't. It would be unreasonable to think that if I don't quit, it won't happen.
Like you said,
Right?
you got that key piece now with your wrestling, so
Yeah, man. It's good.
amazing. Amazing. I know you're busy, man. I got to get back to it as well. So,
Okay.
anything else that you wanted to touch on before I let you go here?
No, man. Just hopefully everyone just keeps supporting MMA, keep supporting your channel, keep supporting the growth of the sport. You know, I've been doing this before it was MMA. It was NHB.
Wow.
When I started training, and just if anybody out there, like, go support your local shows, because that's where the next generation of Canadian superstar is going to come from. It's going to come from the Unified. Get out to Unified. They're a great league. Sunny's such a gem. The whole team's great. These guys, like, all my pretty much all my guys are signed to them, because I believe in what they're doing.
Hmm.
They give the athletes a great platform, and it's an amazing league. So get out to Rebel Nightclub this Friday, support it if you can, and if you can't, look up Muay Thai Ontario, look up Wacko, look up, like, go to a jiu-jitsu tournament, cheer somebody on, man. Like, you know, fighting can change the world. Fighting can change kids, get kids off the street, like, and the more popular it is, the more opportunities there will be to do that, and we can make Canada a better place just by supporting martial arts. I'm absolutely sure of that.
Hands
It
down.
fills in it fills in so many holes that are in
Yep,
the
I'm
school
gonna be done
system
in a
and
minute.
whatnot.
Amazing. I'm finishing up.
Hi. Hi there. Okay, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Okay.
And like right
Sorry.
back to it, just on the final thing there too for changing kids, like they implemented jujitsu in the schools in Dubai,
I think
implementing that into a school program from K to 12. And I know that they're expanding on that globally. So I hope to see
that'd
some
be
kind of
great.
combat sports in schooling down the line.
That'd be the best, man.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go.
All right. Well, I gotta bounce. Thank you again.
Have a
Appreciate it.
cup. See you, buddy.
Take care, bro.